This is a Blackstar Fly 3, and it is one of the best sounding of these little tiny cute lunchbox amps that you can hang off of your belt that you can possibly buy. And today, I'm going to talk about it. I bought this Blackstar Fly 3 off of eBay a little while ago because I wanted something really cool to be able to hang off of my belt when I did my Eddie Van Halen costume at Pensacon. And, well, I looked through a lot of these different kind of lunchbox amps. I had the little Marshall one for a very long time. You saw that in the orange video when I had the little microphone stuck up right against it. But none of them sounded really good to me. And the ones that did sound good, like the Katana, were really expensive. This was not. I bought this thing off of eBay for $60. And I tell you, this thing sounds great. Today I'm going to go through all of its quirks and features, and I'm going to play through it, and I'm going to give it a Paul score, and I'm going to hook up one of these, and you're going to be able to tell how loud it is. What is this? Well, this is a decibel meter. So I'm going to put this in front of the amplifier, and we're going to see just how many decibels you can get out of 3 watts that can hang off of your belt. So the first thing I want to talk about with this Blackstar Fly 3 is, well, how you would actually hook it up to your belt. There is no clip on it anywhere. You actually have to wrap something around it and then clip that to your belt. What I did was I got some, well, here, I'll show you. It's kind of a tangled mess right now, but you see I have a carabiner here, and I have some Velcro that goes to the carabiner, and it wraps all around, and it's just a whole mess right now. But it wraps around this thing. I can hook it to some belt loops, and I can actually walk around shredding. Now, the functionality on this thing is actually really, really darn good. I was shocked at just how much tweakability there was on your sound. Now, as for the sound itself, it all comes out of this little 3-inch speaker right here on the front. And yeah, I know, it's not going to sound like a big 12-inch Celestion, but for the size, it sounds really, really good. Now, as for your controls, first you have, obviously, your power button over here on the left, and you turn it on, and hey, that little red light goes on. And then you have your Mp3 input and your headphone out. Now, of course, the headphone out will actually cut off the speaker from the front once you plug in, so that all you have then is just your headphones. The Mp3 input is great because you can actually use this as a little speaker if you want to. You can jam with tracks, of course, but let's say you want to plug in your iPod and you just want to have some tunes playing on a nice loud little amplifier. Well, you can do that through this thing. What I was really surprised by was how good this delay sounds. Now, this is your time right here, so you can do all sorts of weird sweepy effects if you want to turn it as you're playing. And then, of course, you can do your intensity or your volume with this tiny little knob right here. But the delay actually works really well. It sounds really good. It sounds like it's about 600 milliseconds. It's a pretty long delay and actually really useful. Now, the EQ knob is just like the rest of Blackstar's lineup. It is going to take you from an American sound all the way over here to the British sound all the way over here. And basically that means accentuating mids for the British sound and scooping them for the American sound. And it works really well. And then you have your overall volume knob and your gain knob, and you also have the gain switch right here. So depress the gain switch in, and it's like adding some gain stages, and it makes it really super thick and distortion sounding, and it's really cool. Turn it out, and even with the gain all the way up, it's still fairly clean. And then, of course, you have your input right here. Now, the interesting thing about these is you can get an extension cabinet, but it doesn't plug in with just a regular 1/4-inch jack. You turn this around to the back. This is the jack for the extension cabinet. Yeah, it's like a phone cable. I don't know why they did that way, but I guess to make it proprietary, whatever, they can do what they want. And here is your DC in, and hopefully it comes with the DC adapter when you buy it. Mine did, thankfully, because it is a proprietary thing for Blackstar. But of course, you can always just pop in 6 AA batteries, which these batteries have been in here for a long time, and let me tell you right now, they last a really long time. Has little rubber feet on the bottom, thankfully. Well, had little rubber feet. As you can see, I apparently have knocked one of mine off. Oh well, not a big deal. I mean, this thing hangs off of my belt most of the time anyway. And it has little simulated corners, you know, like you'd find on a big old amp cabinet. I mean, yeah, they're integrated into the plastic, but whatever. Now, as always, whenever I do these reviews, I love going over the warnings that are on the bottom. Refer to the handbook for full operating details. Oh, well, heavens, I would hate to miss something from the 5 controls that I have on the front. Thank you, Blackstar. This device complies with Part 15 of the FCC rules. I guess I'm going to have to go read the FCC rules. Operation is subject to the following 2 conditions. Ooh. This device may not cause harmful interference. I fear what harmful interference would be, but this device must accept any interference received, including interference that may cause undesired operation. I wonder if I can filter out these planes. Undesired operation. That's terrifying and vague. In fact, it's terrifying because it's vague, Blackstar. But of course, my favorite part, as is with any of these amplifiers that I ever bring you, here on the bottom, they tell you not to throw it away. I'm not going to throw my amplifiers away, guys. I don't think that warning is really necessary, but thank you. And another funny thing on the back of the amplifier is this, right here. This label, see if you guys can see that. And I'll hold still on it, where it says, designed and engineered by Blackstar Amplification Limited, Northampton, England, made under license in China. So yes, it is a British designed amplifier, but of course, Chinese made, which of course is how they can sell the thing for $50. So it's not that big of a deal. Well, now that I've gone through all of the various quirks and features, let's go ahead and plug it in and play it. All right, so I've grabbed my old Van Halen 5150 clone guitar, and just because I don't think I've actually talked about this guitar before on here, it has a Best Guitar Parts maple neck. It's actually the roasted maple, has a regular maple fingerboard, has graphite rods running through it for stability and stainless steel frets, has a K&E Guitars poplar body in the 5150 shape, of course, has a Floyd Rose bridge, Floyd Rose special bridge, I should say, with a big old brass block out back, and has the EVH Frankenstein pickup. And right now I've got the volume and gain set perfectly vertically. Matter of fact, since it's so small I can just pick it up and show you. I've got the gain and volume set vertically. They're both at 12 o'clock. I have the little gain button pushed in. The delay is completely off, and right now the EQ is all the way over to the left, which means it's all the way British. Can't remember if I said that properly in the video, but I'm going to put a little disclaimer at the bottom in this main section anyway, so who cares. And of course the delay completely off, and this is what it sounds like going through a Shure SM7B. Now, could use a little bit of tweaking, of course, but I think that, in general, sounds pretty darn good, especially for a speaker of this size, 3 inches. So now I'm going to move the EQ. Okay, so now the EQ is centered, as you can see. Putting it back in front of the microphone. Now let's bring the EQ, we'll max it out to the American side. We'll make this really scooped mids. actually cleans up really nicely with the rolling back of the volume knob. Now I'm going to drop the gain. I'm going to bring the gain down to about 9 o'clock. Volume is staying centered. Now here I am bringing the gain up to 3 o'clock. Actually reasonably thick sounding. Let's bring the volume up to about 3 o'clock. Let's see if we can actually get some decent dime squeal here. Actually, I'm really surprised at that. Not bad. Let's just max out the gain and the volume. Ooh, that's actually reasonably loud. Get some reasonably good dime squeals. All right, so let me bring the volume back here. Bring the gain down to, well, you can see it right here. It's the gain's down to about 2 o'clock. Volume's right back at unity. EQ, I'm going to bring some of those mids back because I don't like how scooped it is. Now we'll mess with the delay. So I'm going to bring the delay level to right at noon. So now here is with the delay time set all the way down. It's like you get a little bit of slap back, and if I turn the volume of the delay, or the level of the delay all the way up. Almost a reverb kind of effect. So let's turn the delay up to 9 o'clock and see what kind of time we get. I tune because I care. All right, so now I'm going to get a little bit of a country kind of slapback kind of thing and see that I've turned the distortion button off. The gain is down to about 11 o'clock. Volume is up about 2 o'clock. So. That's actually really, really cool sounding. Now, let's get some serious delay going on here. I turn the distortion back on. Volume is still about 2 o'clock, and so is the gain. EQ is the same. Going to bring the delay up to center. This is with the delay at noon. Let's turn the delay level back a little bit. Turn the delay level to about 2 o'clock. Let's get a little more time. Let's bring the delay to 9 o'clock. Oh, I'm sorry, 3 o'clock. Wow, really long. Okay, this is with the delay all the way to maxed out at 10. Let's bring the delay level all the way up too. wrong. I am blown away by that. The delay is actually functional and useful. But let's get to the part that actually really matters here, which is how loud is this darn thing? So now I've got the gain and the volume maxed out. The button is pressed in the center, and I'm going to go ahead and turn this all the way back over to the British side, so it's really getting you know, that mid-forward kind of thing. So here is the decibel meter. So you can see numbers register on it. Right now I'm talking, and it's about 80 decibels. Apparently I'm reasonably loud. So what I'm going to do is, rather than just have this aimed at the microphone, I'm actually going to set this. Now, I don't know how easily you can see the front of the decibel meter, but I'll say what the number is anyway. So let's see how loud this little 3-watt speaker actually gets. Okay, so right next to the speaker, it was saying it was 120 decibels. I'm going to go ahead and move it a little further away from the actual decibel meter and see what would be more realistic if you were going to be listening from any kind of distance. Matter of fact, let's just go ahead and separate it out as much as is physically possible. So I'm going to just do that right there. We're going to see that. You can still see the numbers, kind of. I'll just, there we go. Maybe you can see the numbers. All right, max volume. It says 109 decibels from 1 foot away. I'm going to move it further away and see what it still says. Okay, so I have the Blackstar all the way over there. Scroll over here, and we'll go down to the decibel meter over there. Okay, so, let's see here. Okay, all right. The decibel meter and the amplifier are now exactly 5 feet away. Okay, so incredibly, this thing was maxing out about 94 decibels from 5 feet away. Now, granted, your Vox AC30 is going to be more like 110 decibels from that far away. But that's still really impressive for a thing of this size. I mean, that far away, reading that loud, that's enough to be at least able to walk around at a park or something like that. If you're doing a little tiny fun busking gig or something like that, this is going to be plenty for that kind of thing. Will it keep up with a drummer and a bass player? Probably not. Okay, we're just being realistic here. But that this is as loud as it is really impressive. I think these things are just so cool. It's absolutely worth spending the money on if you need either a really good, fun little first amp for a kid, or if you want just a fun practice amp you can actually toss into your guitar case if you want to. Or maybe you just need it for doing the kind of thing like I did, where I walked around as Eddie Van Halen and had this hang off my belt. Whatever the case, this thing is absolutely worth the money. So let's go ahead and give it a Paul score. And the Paul score is 63 out of 100, making it the third least good amplifier that I have ever reviewed. Now, this is a little deceptive because what we really have to look for here is the living room score. The living room score is where this thing is actually really great. And you can see in the living room score, it places 7th out of all the amplifiers I have ever tested. Now, in terms of the styling, it's just kind of a black rectangle. It's not that engaging. The tone, however, for a little tiny bedroom amplifier is really good. It's a little mid-forward and a little thin for what you would really want out of an amplifier to mix in with a lot of other instruments, but again, this thing has a 3-inch speaker. You have to remember that. As for reliability, I've dropped this thing a couple of times, and it still works just fine. The fun factor is huge. I'm giving it a 9 out of 10 for the fun factor because what other amp sounds this good that you can hook off of a belt at this price point? And the cool factor is really high too, 8 out of 10, because again, there's no other amplifier that really does everything that this can do. So the total for the living room score is 40 out of 50. A darn good showing. Where it's less good is, of course, the stage score, where it ties for last place with the Mad Amp Mini Mat. Now, again, this is not what this amplifier is made for. As you can see under the features, it gets a 3 out of 10 because, well, it doesn't have a lot of features. The volume, well, it gets a 1 out of 10 because this is one of the quietest amplifiers, even though it's pretty loud for what it is, you will ever use in any kind of band setting. And it probably couldn't keep up with any good loud drummer or bass player, and that's just the reality of the thing. As for practicality, well, it's not really that practical for stage use in any way, shape, or form. Quality, yeah, it's robust, it's great, it's hardy, it's solid, it's not going to die on you if you had to use it on stage for some reason, but the value, well, you're paying $50 for something that just isn't meant for the stage, so it gets a pretty low value score at 6 out of 10 for a total of 23 out of 50, the, well, tied for lowest score for the stage score. But overall, that does bring it to a 63 out of 100. But again, this is a deceptive score. This doesn't mean this is a bad amplifier. It just means that it's not meant for the same things as the amplifiers above it. And as you can see, I rated it higher than the least good amplifier I ever owned, which was a Carvin SX200. No diss on Carvin, it's just that particular amplifier wasn't that great. But the Blackstar Fly 3 is great if you use it the right way.